All right, shalom, 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 shalom. Once again, you're under the sounds of the voice of your good brother, Tazadaq, and this is your house work. That's how we own it. And so today I'm going to do something very special. I'm going to bring on my brother, no other than the original tracker. You've seen a lot of trackers, but you never saw one like this, the original Geo tracker. So what he's going to do is he's going to come in and he's going to give you a testimony. This is for all the deader haters that love to say that this doesn't work, right? This is just another testimony from someone that applied it and it worked. And this is for my good brother Vide also, because you had a conversation. I mean, I love you and everything, Vide. You my man, 50 grand, but you had a conversation with Israel saying that, you know, this really don't work. Well, it works for me every time. And it works for the people that apply it effectively. So Gio's going to come in the room and he's going to give you his testimonies. And this is from many of my free videos, not to mention, you know, the brother contact me time to time for coaching, for phone coaching. And he's gotten a plug in various other books. And he's been applying these things. But he's actually reiterated to me what I've been articulating to you over the years, that even my free videos work. But the problem is they go over most brothers' heads because you don't really study it like you should. There's remedy in everything I put out. So Gio, when you get into the room, go ahead and give me a thumbs up so I'll know that you're actually on YouTube, so I can post the link so you could come on in and give a testimony. You know, you can introduce yourself real quick. I understand you're a busy man like myself. Don't want to hold too much of your time, maybe 15, 20 minutes, and that's good. So, and by the way, while we're waiting on the good brother Gio to come into the room, I'm going to remind you once again, you're invited to come over, or should I say online, to the webinar this weekend. Is going to have various topics on the webinar this weekend. And some of those topics will be how to properly perform an adverse possession, how to prevent a foreclosure, how to effectively, well, not how you should, but how I have effectively created bonds, right? And many, many, many other things, such as how to do a promissory note properly. So you're invited to attend this weekend, October the 17th and October the 18th, from 12 noon to 6 p.m. on both days. October the 17th, October the 18th, from 12 noon to 6 p.m. on both days. So we got my good brother Gio in here. Gio, I'm going to post the link in the room, and I'm going to ask you some questions. I don't want to take up too much of your time. It's already 2:13. I know you got to be out of here by 2:30. So if you would click on that link under the Deprogram Enlightener, Gio, it'll actually bring you into the room. And, you know, you could just, you know, let the people know the success that you've actually had with even my free videos and various other things, such as the books, the phone coaching, and other things that many naysayers have a tendency to believe don't work. What I know, I can honestly say to you folks, it works for me every single time. If you do it right, it works for you. What I also know is that the people that it doesn't I don't look for the system have actually screwed something up. I look for the discrepancy that you yourself have made. The system does it right every time. As long as you get it right, then you'll have the same result. So you got my brother Gio. We're gonna give the good brother Gio. As you can see here, real G. Got the hat turned around backwards. Suave smooth.
Hey Taz, how you doing?
But hold on, Gio. First of all, man, I want you to tell them. You gotta mute your YouTube in the background, Gio. You're getting the echo. I want you to tell them how you got all these degrees, and it really wasn't as effective as you thought it would be. All these college degrees, something that I speak to very much. Now
Right.
you gotta mute your YouTube, Dia. Mute the YouTube and just talk through the StreamYard.
Okay, how do I do that?
Go to YouTube, and if you look at in the bottom left-hand corner, there's an icon of a little speaker. If you click mute on that, the echo will go away.
Okay. In the bottom left.
The bottom left, there's a pause, there's a fast forward, and there's a speaker. If you click on that speaker, the echo will go away.
I don't see that. I just see the video.
Yeah, it's the actual video itself.
Oh, all right.
If you look to the far left corner,
is it good now or no?
Nah, I still hear the echo. You may just want to close your YouTube and talk through StreamYard. Because I know you got a time here. You're on the time factor.
All right.
David used to have the same problem. When you have your YouTube turned up, you get an echo back from the StreamYard.
Yeah. Okay, so if I go
I only hear it when I talk.
Okay.
Interesting.
Allow YouTube to record. I'm gonna deny that.
Just go ahead and talk. Because I only hear it when I talk. But the YouTube, you really should close the YouTube and just talk through StreamYard. The echo will go away.
Yeah, I took it off on my phone. I don't know why it's still making the echo.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I don't hear it now. Well, now I hear it again.
I'm gonna try to turn down the volume. Okay.
But I mean, just tell me about your college. And let me put my make sure it's not my.
It sounded like it might have went away.
I think it's on my side. Let me check the settings. But you could go ahead and speak.
Yeah. So I basically went to school. I did 7 years of school. I got an associate's in IT because I didn't know what I wanted to go to school for, and I was told, what everybody else is told, to go to school and to get a good job and to do all that stuff. So I mean, I tried that. I went and I got my first associates in IT, and then I hated it because I hated sitting behind a computer. And then so I switched to marketing, and then I ended up graduating with both those associates, and then I did a double bachelor's program at IUP for a bachelor's in HR and general management. And then I came out, and then I found myself trying to look for jobs, and the only jobs that were around were like the mediocre ones. They weren't very, very good and everything like that. And I found myself struggling, and it was really hard. And and then I had very, very good credit, and I was trying to build a business online marketing, and the job that I had doing that, it wasn't very good. So I was using credit to do my ads and everything like that, and I ended up just blowing through a lot of credit trying to build my dreams and everything like that. And it put me in a position to where I was in a total of 120 grand in debts, and over 60 grand of that was in credit. So then I came to Jersey. I moved. I got a place on my own, and then I realized that I had to do something about my situation. And people were telling me that I should file for bankruptcy and everything like that, and that I should just do it that way and just start over from scratch. And I knew for myself, that wasn't an option. I couldn't do that because that wouldn't get me to where I wanted to be at. Like, I didn't want to have to file and then have to wait. And at that time, I didn't know nothing about law. I didn't know anything about credit. And so I moved to Jersey. And in the first time I came in contact with Tazadaq, I seen his videos on YouTube, just like probably all you, and I started watching them because I was looking for ways to get out of debt. And then from there, I realized that I started learning about stuff, and then I realized that the United States was bankrupt. And then I heard about the secure party creditor, and the first one that ever told me about that was Taz, do his videos, and I was looking all over YouTube, and I realized that this whole process of discharging debts and everything like that, and I'm like, well, how does this work, and everything like that. And then so I realized from there what I had to do was fight through this. And I never filed any bankruptcy. I never did any of that. I just learned contracts. And Todd says all the time, you have to know what makes a valid contract. And a corporation cannot contract with a living man or woman. So they need you to become a corporation, a corporate entity. So I started really doing research on the whole process, and I didn't have a lot of funds back then, but I knew that I had to do the process. And so I made a lot of mistakes throughout my whole process. And it's like now, because I filed my secure party process like 2 years ago, 2018, and now I'm at the point that where I knew I had to get it done, but now I knew that I did some stuff wrong, and I always wanted to go with Taz for the process, but at the time I was like, I just got to get it done. But my mistake in that was, trying to do something that's affordable is not always a good way. Sometimes you want to make sure things get done the right way and everything like that. So, I mean, even if you don't know how to discharge debts and everything like that, the main thing that you got to learn with this whole process is knowing contracts and knowing that the process of contract, if it's valid, you have to know about the elements of a contract, the boxing, who it's addressed to, all that stuff that he talks about in his videos. And I've gotten so much value from all of his content that it's unbelievable. And some of the stuff, if you sit there and you study it, you could actually take certain parts of it and actually incorporate it into your affidavits. And when you do an affidavit, it stands as truth, right? So there's certain things that he says that nobody else will tell you. Certain things that nobody else even. It's uncommon knowledge. So you really have to take everything that you learn and really apply it. And that's the problem. Not everybody is serious about what they're doing. And when you're not serious about it, it's not something you can learn overnight. So you have to actually, apply it and listen, constantly and study constantly. He talks about burning the midnight oil, and basically that means hours and hours of studying and just listening and like, and now like, I mean, I work in IT right now, and I'm going through this whole process, and I was able to get rid of a lot of my debt just by knowing this stuff. And so when I'm sitting here working, I always have on audio and always listen. So sometimes I'm listening to his videos for 8 hours a day, just the videos, and I get on the calls, and then everything like that. I've gotten a book from him, and I'm gonna get more, and it's been amazing. So anybody that's not taking this stuff serious, it's only going to hurt you in the long run, because these contracts never stop. They never stop, and you have to know how to handle them. And at first I was scared. I was scared to send back a presentment in the mail. I was scared to do it, because I thought something would happen to me. I thought they would come after me. I thought that I might get locked up if I just didn't pay something, or if I just didn't contract. I thought that they were gonna come knocking at my door, saying something. But that's what he talks about when he says that you have to be undaunted. You can't be scared of words on a paper. And so this whole process has been very, very amazing for me. Just a learning. I've been able to beat around 10 traffic situations, and a lot of the stuff he puts out, like conditional acceptances and everything like that, is very important, because you have to know how to respond in different situations. And with this upcoming webinar that he's doing on foreclosure, your house is already paid when you sign the note, and it produces the credit. And so if you know that the banks don't lend you anything, which it says in modern money mechanics, and you're not a dead entity, you're a living soul. You have to assert yourself in the contracts and everything like that. And you're not a dead entity, and this stuff is real. You could look up the fact of death in the Corpus Juris Secundum, section 16, page 892. It's a fact of death. So the strong man stuff, it's not a fiction. It's real. This stuff is real. The stuff that they've done to us. And you have to really apply yourself to actually be able to maneuver in commerce, like he talks about, and it's very important. So you might not like his delivery or what he says to you, but not everybody's gonna agree with him, and not everybody's gonna agree with you. So but everybody has their own beliefs, and everybody needs to respect how he feels about certain topics and the stuff that he says to you, because it's very important for your life. This is your life. The contracts will never end. They continue. So you have to know how to deal with the certain situation when it comes and when it's applied to your life, for yourself and your family. It's very, very important.
Hey, actually, Gio, tell them about the issue about the alleged student loan, that large amount of supply that they told you was overdoing and on immediately, and you told them that you was a creditor.
Okay, yeah. So basically, whenever I stopped I actually I had a student loan that was alleged. Hold on, I'm logging into my computer for a second. I had a student loan that was alleged, and it was. I asked for the. So I had a student loan that was alleged, and I asked for the original instrument of indebtedness in its original form. That means the original contract that's not modified or anything like that. And so they didn't have anything. They didn't have anything, and this is the case normally. Like normally they don't have the instrument. So I asked for the instrument, and what happened was they sent me back a document, which basically it had electronic signature on there and all types of it had all types of boxing. So I'm like, okay, this isn't even valid. So then I fought it because I learned contracts, and I asked them questions on the document itself. I asked them about the boxing, all that stuff. So then, because of my situation, I got to a point to where I couldn't really pay on the student loan anymore, and I had to do something about it. And so I stopped paying, and then I wanted to test it out. So like sometimes I put myself in situations to actually be able to get myself out, to see if I could actually have success with it. And it takes a lot of heart to be able to do that. And sometimes I like testing it out to see how it works. So I stopped paying on the student loan for like 6 months straight. And I would notice every single time that when they would take a payment, I took all the funds out of the account, right? And so then every single time that they would take a payment from the account, the bank account would go negative, but then it would credit the student loan account. So it was like they were getting payment, right? So then I would call up the bank and tell the bank that the transaction was unauthorized, right? So then they would reverse it, right? But then after like 6 months of doing that, they I think they caught on to it, and so and so everything that everything that was technically paid, pretty much it got reversed.
Right.
So then
They hit you with an alleged debt for
yeah,
a total amount due,
yeah.
which
So then
overdue your account, right?
so then the bank account was over $1,000 negative, and the funny thing is I actually found the email. I found the email before this call. So it actually, everything got reversed, and so I ended up writing a letter or an email to, because I was getting presentments from the bank saying that I owe this, everything like that. So I ended up writing them an email after I
What you do
realized
with
like
those
who I
letters?
was, that I'm the actual creditor, and I let them know my status, and I asserted myself. And pretty much it was like 2 months I didn't hear anything. Then all of a sudden I got an email, and I never put anything in the account. Here was the email. It's $1,076. I don't know if you could see
Yeah,
that,
we can see that.
but it says cha-ching, you got money. And I was so excited because it was like the first time that I've actually seen something, and to me it was crazy. It was like, what happened? Like But it was from the fact that I asserted myself, and they did what I asked them to do. I asked them to balance out the account to zero. And 2 months later, I got that email out of nowhere. It hit my email because I had the bank account attached to it, and it was amazing. And I was like, wow, this stuff really works. And then another success that I have is with my gas and electric. I haven't paid a gas and electric bill in like a year, right? And they don't turn it off or nothing. I ended up finding the contract, and then from there, somebody under the CFO contacted me on my cell phone, and pretty much I asked them questions from what I learned from Taz and law about the bankruptcy, everything like that. I did the handwritten letters like he says to do. Asking the questions about about the documents, and actually, about the debt, and telling them to do it under penalty of perjury. And so, basically, I would handwrite them, and then now they don't bother me. Like, it's gone. Like, and it's so crazy that it actually does work. If you apply yourself and you know what you're talking about, they're not just going to take anybody's word for it. They're going to test you, and you have to know what you're talking about.
Can you hear me, Gio?
Yeah, I can
Yeah.
hear
So
you.
let me ask you this. So you're saying I don't think they get the clarity of what you're explaining here. So you're telling them that your account was overdrawn because they said that you owed that in student loans, and then you sent them a counter offer stating that you was a creditor, and you told them to zero out the account, and they did
Right,
it.
right.
That's what he's actually saying to you guys.
Yes, I sent him an email electronically to the ACH department.
Come on. As you come in the room, go ahead and give a thumbs up. We got 40 some people in the room. I don't how many thumbs up we got here. And so the other things that you had success with, such as the electric and so on and so forth, do you think you would have actually had success if you didn't comprehend contract law?
No, no, and that's the majority of this whole thing. Beyond just discharging debt, you have to actually know contracts, and you have to know history, and that's why he goes into the history of things, because it's important to know the history in connection with the law, because you have to use them in conjunction with each other.
Right. If you don't know the history, you don't understand why you're doing what you're doing. If you don't,
Yeah,
if you can't explain like why that's illegal, why that you should be able to discharge a debt, why you should be able to effectively use a 1099 OID, why you should be able to do an adverse possession, because a bank can't own property.
yeah.
These things are important to comprehend.
Right. And even if you file your secure party process, it doesn't mean it's done right. And the biggest thing that I want to say to people is, don't do what I did and just try to go a cheaper route, because sometimes cheap isn't always good, and you want to make sure that the process is done right, and that you know what you're doing. And Tazadaq supplies everything that you possibly need to be able to search yourself.
Now, what about this? Let's just address one more issue. I know you got to go, Gio. What do you think about these people that run around and say, it doesn't work. You're going to get in trouble. None of this works. This is all a hoax. What do you think about those guys, these debtors that say that? That tried it
Well,
and fell. They tried it themselves, but they fell. And then they
yeah,
tell
it's
everyone else don't do it. It doesn't work.
yeah, it's conditioning, because even like people in my family, they don't understand, and it's not for everybody to understand. It's beyond people's comprehension. So it's pretty much, it's conditioning, and it's like they're not applying themselves long enough to even try to get what the proper process is. So it's like, you had to do hours and hours of studying. It's not just an overnight thing, but people want overnight results,
Right.
and
They're not
that's
burning
not
the
how
midnight
things
oil.
work.
They just want a quick fix, like they went to
Right.
the wizard. They're not
Yeah.
willing to burn the midnight oil.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like we are in the Wizard of Oz. You know, it's a yellow brick road, and the yellow bricks are the gold that was taken, and then you have the straw man, and then you have the wizard. The wizard was the guy behind the curtain, controlling stuff. But when he comes out from behind the curtain, it's just a regular guy.
Right.
You know?
They're just little bank. They're just little banksters, man. They're just
Yeah,
little banksters that's controlling
yeah,
the world. Just regular guys, man. Some
yeah.
of them got bullied in life. They just
Yeah,
know the mental
and that's
aspect.
the thing that really upset me about everything that I started to learn. I'm like, these banks and stuff are already paid, but then they're asking for a second in their payment. You know, it's like if first they get paid by your note, second they get paid by whatever you're tendering them, and then they take the slip and they cash out in it as abandoned property too because you don't claim it.
Right.
So they're getting paid like three times, and it's crazy.
Yep. And the other thing is that too many people are afraid to try this. Too many of you are afraid of this,
Right.
and you're fear. That's your Achilles heel. You're your worst. You're your greatest enemy because your fear is intangible. But too many people are afraid to try this process. And I wouldn't doubt you. Something that I'm not comfortable with, I wouldn't try either. Something that I don't have confidence in, I wouldn't try either. But you know why you don't have confidence? Because you're not studying. You're not willing to burn the midnight oil as suggested. You'll try something, doesn't work, you give up. Say it doesn't work. Imagine if all of the imagine if the guy that they claim created the light bulb did that, right? The guy fell and fell and fell and fell and fell and fell and fell. I said, yo, you fell. He didn't do it. He said, no. I just tried a lot of different ways that didn't work. You got to look at the process the same way.
Yeah.
You got to get back up. Go ahead, Gia.
Yeah. And the thing for me is I love unconventional knowledge, things that are not taught in schools, things that you won't find in a regular book, things that aren't going to be taught to you. And it's like you really have to really just get out of your zone of being in fear, because I was scared when I first started these processes too, but now I just send the presentments back, and it falls
Right,
under truth and lending. I try to do it within there, the 3 days. And you know they'll definitely test you, but you have to know how to take the test.
right. You will be tested, man. You will be tested. And so if you're afraid of that, and they will try and intimidate you if you go into one of those public venues. And if you're easily intimidated, it's not for you. This is not for everyone. Honestly, this is not for most of the people. Only a very small percentage of people will have success for this. This is why so many go around and say it doesn't work. And of course, if I make my living, think about this, man. A briefcase, when I say a briefcase, I'm talking about one of them things that you call lawyers. A briefcase makes his living off of screwing you, getting as much fiat from you that he can. A briefcase gets paid by going to court. The black robe gets paid by going to court. That's a corporation. So if they allow everyone to win when they go into court, that corporation will go out of business. So you got to lose because you're their investment. So most of the people lose. Most of the people don't think to study and say, hey, well, you know what? I'm going to show you the law. Because the briefcases don't really know law unless it's some high level judge. They just know procedure. This is why most of it seem foreign to them. They don't know law. They study procedure in law school. Because
Yeah,
law is specific. Just like a doctor, each doctor has a specific profession. Like one may be a surgeon, a heart surgeon. Someone may be like, they work on bones. Well, it's the same way with law. They don't study the full spectrum of law like we do. Hey, I'm just an aggrieved man. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not any of them. I'm just an aggrieved man. That's it.
Right. And that's the thing that's one of the keys that I got from Utah is like watching a couple of your videos. You talk about 8 USC 1481 and the status of an attorney, which is a foreigner.
Yep.
Foreign Registration Act. So when you hire an attorney, you're pretty much screwing yourself, because if the attorney's a bar member and the judge is a bar member, they're both on the same team. So pretty much you're just walking into a private trading firm that has trading on the stock market, and they're in a position to screw you over.
Right. They're aliens. They've alienated themselves.
And that's the thing. Whenever you start getting this knowledge and getting everything and applying it, putting it in your writing and learning the contracts, like what Todd said something the other day. If there is no contract, you better create one. And a lot of information that he gives, is you could actually, incorporate that into your contracts when you learn. And so, if you do an affidavit that's fully truth, how can it be rebutted?
Right.
Like it's an automatic win, but you just got to know what you're talking about, and that's the importance of knowing the law and the contract and everything like that. Because if you don't know, you're automatically being put at a disadvantage through contracts, then you're going to fall for whatever they tell you and believe it.
Roger that. David, you got anything you would like to add? Appreciate that. You got anything else?
Who do I have any? You said, do I have anything else?
Yes.
No, I don't really have too much else.
Anything that you could tell these people that may, because we still got a lot of debtors, man, that would try to detour. I'm just keeping it 100, man. That would try to detour others from doing this.
Well,
and they don't do it. They make these people fearful, and so the other option is to remain how you are.
Yeah.
So what do you say to people like that?
Well, that's the only option. That's the only two options that you have. You either remain in your current situation, or you do something to change it. Now, if you don't do anything to change it, that's fine. You're just gonna be the same way you are now, 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, right? It's gonna be the same. You're not gonna change anything about the situation. So sometimes you just gotta draw a line in the sand and say, this is enough. I'm sick of being in this situation. I'm sick of being disadvantaged. And if you understand the fraud that was created, at your birth to construct a fraud, they're capable of anything, pretty much. So it's very, very important, because this involves your life. It's not a game. It's not something that you want to play around with. It's not something that you could watch, 1 or 2 videos and go into and be able to win. It's something that you got to consistently do. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle more than anything. It's not about status. It's about the lifestyle. It's about being able to know what you're talking about and being able to defend yourself in certain situations when people are coming after you for anything, any type of situation. You want to be able to properly defend yourself and speak for yourself. You don't want to be an infant minor and a decedent. You want to be of the age of a majority and capable to handle your own affairs. And if you're not, then you're at a disadvantage to lawyers of Britain. So,
hey, Mayor, don't worry about how often the webinars are, Mayor. Just attend this one. You're not promised tomorrow. If you are fortunate enough to make the one Saturday and Sunday, make that one, man. That's an excuse, man. That's a venue for an excuse. And that's one of the things that we got to actually learn to eliminate. We create all of these excuses, man. But I'm interested, man. Excuses are only convenient for those that make them up. They're not convenient for anyone else. And it's Hector. All right, you come in many names, man. By the way, Hector, that book was actually sent out today to someone in California, whoever you arrange it to go to in California. But I just started doing them more here because I know people be in the background with their cameras, like bootlegging it. You know what I mean, I know what's going on, but it won't profit them anything. It's all good. But I'm still editing that last seminar, and it turns out that's probably going to be about 13 or so DVDs, but it's going to cost way more than the seminar did. It's really requiring a lot of time and energy to edit these files and then burn them to disk.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely want to get the content. You definitely want to apply. You got to actually apply yourself. And people make that excuse all the time. Well, I don't have the time. You know, some of the days I sit in front of my computer and I work 16, 17 hours a day. But even if I'm working, I have on audio and I have on things like the videos. And then on the weekends, if there's a webinar, I try to make it to those. But the books, when you get the books, that's something that you can always look back on, if you need a reference. And that's the one good thing I like about books is you could always go back to it.
Right. Yeah. The other thing I want to say, man, is the pretenders, right? Like this guy, I'm gonna call him out. I like to call people out, put him on the spot. Roscoe Church. Y'all should be. He had me call this guy. Roscoe trying to reach you. You want to become a secure party creditor. This guy is literally calling me when I'm on lives every 5-10 times on the live. I'm going to become a secure party creditor. So I talked to this guy, a month ago. I finally call him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm ready to become a creditor." Okay, roger that. It's been over a month. See, it's people. I mean, like people like that. They're actors and they're time wasters. I don't have time to waste. I don't have energy for. I don't have the energy for people that want to waste my time like that. And
Right.
people that just talk, man. Georgia.
Yeah, if it's something that somebody wants to do, like don't come to him like prematurely. Make sure you have everything together, and be like, okay, I'm ready now. Like don't just be like, I'm gonna do it, and then have somebody waiting because you're not only messing up his time, but you're messing up your own time too, and everything. So you want to make sure that you're all prepared before you actually make that commitment, because if you're not committed to it, you're not going to have the results. So you have to go into it wholeheartedly and committed to the process.
Mikael said it best. Why have you not considered not being a victim? That's an excellent question, man. They just like being victimized, man, by the system, man.
Right.
David, are you at work, David? So if there's nothing else, Gio, I guess we could end this. Probably going to be on a little later with T-Dot, man, but that's going to be scriptural.
Okay.
Brandon, how many names you got, Brandon? You logged in as Brandon and Mayor?
But the main thing is, people need to really take this stuff serious, because it could really help you in a situation when you really need it. Because there's always going to be a situation to where you're going to be in some type of situation, no matter what it is, that you're going to always need to know how to defend yourself. And if you don't know how to defend yourself, then you're at a disadvantage. So if you don't do it, if you don't get started, you're only hurting yourself, because you don't have the tools you need to be able to be successful in this world of commerce.
What's this guy saying? How can get down BR? I never tell you to get down. It's all about coming up. So I don't know. I wouldn't know that. how do I support? Throw a donation. But not if you're a minor. Your image that you got right there looks like you're a minor. I'm not going to take anything from a minor. That's probably part of a setup. Were you sent by any alphabet soups or anything of that nature? Why would a minor try to make a donation? Interesting. How old are you, Carlos? You donate right there if you're not a minor. If you're a minor, don't make any donations to this. I don't want someone's parent saying that I was soliciting fiat for minors. They come from all sorts of avenues. So yeah. Anyone else? Anything else? Let me invite a couple people in the room here before I leave. Anyone else? Anything that had anyone that have anything they would like to speak? What about you? Brandon, is your mic not working again, Brandon? You gotta hit up Amazon or something, Brandon. A contact B, BH Video on 8th Avenue, 42nd Street in New York. Anyone have anything they would like to add before we end this? Carlos, you got something you want to say, Carlos? Come in the room. A student, huh? Okay.
Hey, Taz, man, I appreciate you putting me on so I could tell my story and stuff, because I hope it helped me, and I really hope that other people take it seriously, and it's not a game, and I really appreciate, you letting me on here and everything like that.
Hopefully it'll change someone, brother. Hopefully it'll touch someone, and but the flip side of that, there may be some that try and go and do this stuff that you suggested without studying and researching, and those are going to be the people that get their lights turned off in the dead of winter.
Right.
I've seen it happen before, sadly, but true. I've seen it happen before.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you just don't want to just go into something and say you're not paying gas and electric, because they'll come and they'll shut it off. And it's PSE&G too, so it's a pretty big company in Jersey that services all of Jersey. So
right. So with that, yeah, we're authorized representative. I don't know what they're talking about in the room. So with that, we're gonna go ahead and say shalom. Go ahead and thumbs up the video if you haven't already before you leave. Like the video, share the video, and I pray that Gio's testimony will inspire someone to move forward and change their life, to really bite down on their mouthpiece and get up and get after it and put in some studying and research. But as usual, I challenge you, don't listen to anything that I've stated or he stated. Go and check it out for yourself. And if you could come back and disprove anything, I welcome that. I've been waiting for that one for 12 years, but haven't seen it yet. Cody Carlson, can you show your face? We don't know who you are. All right, here we go. Gonna make sure you're not eating any kind of alphabet soup overhead. Go ahead, Cody Carlson. Cody, you're unmuted. I think he's having a problem with his mic.
Can you hear me?
Somewhat. Looks like your screen's freezing, Cody.
Sorry about that. My internet might be kind of bad. I'm not connected to Wi-Fi right now.
Yeah, it sounds like a reception issue.
Let me try it off my phone. It'd probably work better than this tablet. I'll reconnect here.
Tazadaq, what's going on? Brother Wards. Brother Wards. Awkward, you're unmuted. Hey, can you hear me, Gio?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I don't think he can hear me. Look like he's traveling in his conveyance.
Yeah.
Awkward, you're unmuted.
It might help if I get off.
No, I don't think that has anything to do with it. I'd have like 10 people in here at once.
Okay.
Anyways, so they both fell out. We can go ahead and end this. Appreciate everyone for listening. I'm going to say shalom. And again, I'm going to remind you to come out to the webinar this Saturday and Sunday from 12 noon Eastern Standard Time to 6 p.m. on both days. You could click the registration link below this video. Going to cover various different topics, all that will be very resourceful if you really study it and apply it. I can't tell you to apply it, but work for me. As you hear, it works for Gio. Awkward.
Right.
Can you hear now? I don't think you can.
Shalom. Can you hear me?
Yeah, shalom.
Hey, yeah. I just want to, expound upon what you're talking about. I came in the room late. I'm actually, I'm traveling. But it definitely does work. The process, like you're saying, if you apply yourself. I came on months ago with my testimony about discharging 9,400 in student loans, and they haven't contacted me for months. With my situation, I came on. Navient tried to say that I had an alleged debt. I challenged that alleged debt, and then it got discharged. My A4V went through. Did a conditional acceptance and everything, got discharged. But then a couple months after that, another entity, the U.S. Department of Education, tried to pick up on the same alleged debt, and I subpoenaed them to come to court. And after I did that, they fell back. I haven't heard from them for months now, and my credit score is continuing to go up. And the balance on the account is at zero. Settlement and closure. So, for those who say it don't work, it's because they're not doing the work.
Right.
So, with that, I just want
So, I mean, how is it?
work.
Let me ask you, Aquars and Gio, how is it that you guys could come over here and give a testimony, but then you have all of these debtors running around? They tried it didn't work, and they tell the new people that try and come in, they try to deter them because it didn't work for them. No, it doesn't work for you because you didn't apply it correctly.
Right.
That's the problem. And it's not easy. I'm not going to stand here and tell you that it's easy. It requires commitment, like anything that you want to be good at. You want to be real good at something, man. You got to consistently put in time. You put in time until you get it right. Get it right. You do it over and over and over again. Any kind of practice, any kind of thing that you went through. This is why people have practice. You don't actually really win a major event in the arena. You win doing the damn practice. This is why people practice so much. So when you're in the theater of the arena with your hand raised, the reason that you're doing that is because those people that's in that arena, they don't see all the hours that you put in practicing, all the time that you devoted to your craft. The only thing they see is your damn hand raised. Oh yeah, I want to be like him. But they don't want to put in the hard work. They don't want to put in all of the time and hours. They want it to come easy. Then they try it once. Hey, shit didn't work, man. Let me try something else. They run around. They go from so-called creditor to creditor to creditor, and they get scammed by some people. Don't you know there's a lot of people that call me at Tazadaq, I'm already a secure party creditor. I said, why are you calling me? Who's in your pocket? Oh yeah, they won't pick up the phone anymore. Shouldn't that tell you something, man? They're not picking up the phone anymore. But you want me to fix what they done now.
And their whole process could be wrong because they tried to go the cheaper route.
Right. I have a guy that's been calling me consistently, and someone else done his packet. He don't know how to handle things like a simple traffic infraction. He calling me. I said, hold on, man. You told me you're a secure party. Yeah, man, but yeah. Simple things. Simple. That kind of incensed me, man.
Yeah.
That's what
That's
it
why
is,
I need
man.
to get your books. They need to get your books because your books explain, how to handle those presentments, man. It's really simple
Right.
when you really come down to it. What it is that they don't make it easy for you. But once you understand the law, you understand the procedure and how to handle certain presentments and things, and the conditional acceptance is key, man. If you know how to do the conditional acceptance and you know contract law, you'll be all right.
Right.
You'll be all right. So that's the main thing, man. And y'all willing, Yahweh willing, I'll be attending that webinar as well, man, because it was a lot of information that you gave out to the people, man. And if you apply it correctly, it could really change your life. And I'm speaking from experience. So if I could do it, I don't see why anyone else could do it. You can't do it. Simple as that.
What about it, Cody? What's going on, brother? Looks like you got on an orange jumpsuit. I hope this shit's an orange shirt, Cody.
Sorry about that. My internet's still chopping up right now. I don't know what it is.
Now I can hear you clearly. Maybe you can't hear me. Oh man, he blinked out. Yeah, his internet is choppy. So yeah, man, we're gonna go ahead and shut it down. Thank everyone for listening. Like, share the video, and we hope to see you on the webinar. I'm gonna say shalom. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah Barakatah.